This week, King Abdullah II of Jordan visited the White House, the first Middle Eastern leader to do so during President Donald J. Trump's second presidential term. At their joint press conference from the Oval Office, President Trump reiterated his idea to unilaterally settle the war-torn Gaza Strip into a resort area after displacing the Palestinians who live there.
We're not going to buy anything. We're going to have it, and we're going to keep it, and we're going to make sure that there's going to be peace, and there's not going to be any problem, and nobody's going to question it. And we're going to run it very properly, and eventually we'll have economic development at a very large scale, maybe the largest scale on that site. And we'll have lots of good things built there, including hotels and office buildings and housing and other things. And we'll make that site into what it should be. And the people from Gaza who wouldn't be able to be there for years, because you're talking about just to get it and prepare it and to take care of all of the problems that currently it has, as you know, tunnels, and people are in those tunnels, and you have some good people and some bad people, and you may have hostages right now. You know, you have the hostages possibly there. They don't know where they are. And, you know, I have a Saturday deadline, and I don't think they're going to make the deadline personally. I think they want to play tough guy, but we'll see how tough they are. But it's going to be a wonderful thing. It's going to be wonderful for the Middle East. I think it'll turn the Middle East. I think you're going to have peace in the Middle East. You're going to eventually have peace in the Middle East.
While King Abdullah II didn't offer any direct criticism of the idea while seated next to Trump in the Oval Office, which obviously was an awkward situation, he did say that Arab countries, specifically Egypt, needed to take the lead in determining the future of Gaza. Later, the Jordanian foreign minister stated that Trump's plan would destabilize the region. Meanwhile, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu warned Tuesday that a ceasefire that temporarily paused the war in Gaza will end this weekend unless Hamas frees Israeli hostages it is holding in captivity. Netanyahu said, "If Hamas does not return our hostages by Saturday at noon, the ceasefire will be terminated and the IDF will return to intense combat until the final defeat of Hamas." Netanyahu's threat came a day after Hamas announced they were halting the release of hostages due to claims that Israel has been slow to allow aid into Gaza in accordance with the ceasefire deal. Reporting on the Middle East is challenging because there are so many elements to the story. So let me tell you about a resource that I depend on to clear through the clutter when covering current events: Ground News. Let's search a topic adjacent to what we're talking about in this episode: the Israel-Hamas ceasefire. You can see there are 1,063 stories on that. And this infographic here shows you the bias distribution with the logos of the sources prominently displayed. Let's compare two headlines. First one is the Daily Trust, with high factuality and leans left, which is evident right away with a headline that reads, "Israel kills 75 Palestinians amidst ceasefire deal." It's easy to click through and read the article and then click back again. And then a couple of links below, we have this one from the Christian Science Monitor, owned by the First Church of Christ Scientists, as indicated in light red here. This one with high factuality and center bias, and you can see the headline is more neutral. In Israel and Gaza, ceasefire deals many uncertainties temper joy. Again, it's easy to click through and read the coverage and then click back again. You can't get this amount of information organized like this anywhere else. Go to ground.news/ward or scan the QR code on the screen. If you use my link, you can get 40% off unlimited access, which is what I use. Ground News is subscriber funded, so you will not see any ads on their website which contribute to sensationalism and clickbait reporting. And by subscribing, you're not only getting a great tool, but you're supporting this channel directly. Gaza is just one of the multiple fronts that Israel has faced of the regional war that was set into motion by the October 7th Hamas terror raid on kibbutzes and a music festival that resulted in the brutal killing of 1,200 civilians, including 40 Americans, and the taking of 251 hostages. Following that attack, the worst in Israel's history, IDF launched an invasion of Gaza using overwhelming air power and ground forces, and as that campaign wore on, Israel came under attack from Hezbollah in Lebanon, Palestinians in the West Bank, the Houthis in Yemen, and Iran. Israel has countered those threats both tactically and strategically. They've shown the ability to act on their sophisticated intelligence network to go after the leadership of terror groups, in one case assassinating the head of Hamas with a remotely detonated bomb that was planted in a guest house in Tehran months ahead of time, and in another case, simultaneously detonating hundreds of explosive-filled pagers used by key members of Hezbollah after creating the supply chain for those pagers using shell companies. Now, our friends at the War Zone have teed up newly revealed details behind another bold Israeli mission designed to decapitate Hezbollah's chain of command. On September 27, 2024, Israeli intel triangulated that Hezbollah's leader Hassan Nasrallah was in the organization's command bunker buried deep beneath the streets of the Dahieh neighborhood in southern Beirut. The mission to take Nasrallah out required both precision because of the density of buildings in the area and the high potential of collateral damage, always a concern when balancing military outcomes with the court of international public opinion, and the fact the bunker was 60 feet below the surface, surrounded by several layers of reinforced concrete that was as much as 12 feet thick in some places. The IDF decided to use 8 F-15I models of the Strike Eagle, what the Israeli Air Force calls the RAM multirole fighter. Each RAM was loaded with 7 GBU-31 Joint Direct Attack Munitions, better known by the JDAM acronym, which are GPS-guided bombs. These bombs were loaded with bunker-busting BLU-109 warheads. As you can see in this file test footage, bunker busters are designed to penetrate concrete structures before detonating. Analysis of videos captured during the strike shows the precision and power of the F-15's delivery. Here you see the footage from a security camera at street level, starting with several civilians who just missed getting hit. Note how the JDAM pierces the asphalt cleanly and then explodes after penetrating the ground, causing the street to buckle. Once the dust clears, the one guy who was lucky to avoid getting hit by debris grabs his scooter and gets out of there. This second view from a residence a few blocks away shows a string of JDAMs hitting in rapid succession. If you look closely, you can see explosions within explosions, illustrating the sophistication of the weaponeering, meaning the type and number of bombs selected, the fusing of each bomb, and the aim points chosen, and the delivery technique. Basically, the fusing of the first bomb is set to go off at a percentage of the target depth, and then the subsequent bombs are dropped within those craters to reach the core of the bunker. These videos taken on the surface after the strike show just how deep the resultant holes were, as well as how much collateral damage there was. After some initial denials, Hezbollah ultimately revealed that the strike had killed Hassan Nasrallah. IDF spokesman Brigadier General Daniel Hagari made the following statement after the strike.
Moments ago, the Israel Defense Forces carried out a precise strike on the central headquarters of the Hezbollah terror organization that served as the epicenter of Hezbollah's terror. Hezbollah's central headquarters was intentionally built under residential buildings in the heart of the Dahieh in Beirut, as part of Hezbollah's strategy of using Lebanese people as human shields. On October 8th, Hezbollah started attacking Israel. After almost a year of Hezbollah firing rockets, missiles, and suicide drones at Israeli civilians, after almost a year of Israel warning the world and telling them that Hezbollah must be stopped, Israel is doing what every sovereign state in the world would do if they had a terror organization that seeks their destruction on their border, taking the necessary action to protect our people so that Israeli families can leave their homes safely and securely.
All right, that'll do it for this update. More on the topic as the information becomes available. So if you're not already a subscriber, become one so you don't miss anything. And in the meantime, I look forward to talking to you again very soon.